Hello and welcome back to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel, where of course we're giving you all the latest news, views and opinions on all things Albion. Back again with a transfer update for you guys on our YouTube channel, exclusive to our YouTube channel in fact, talking all about the surprise move for Jordan Hugill from Norwich City on a season-long loan, which has been confirmed by the club. So we'll be talking all through that transfer. I'll be talking about what he's going to bring to the club, what role exactly is he going to play at West Bromwich Albion, and we'll also be getting some very exciting insight from the guys over at Canary Cast, the Norwich City fan channel, from Jacob from there, who's been sending in his thoughts on Jordan Hugill, hopefully giving us a bit more of an idea of what we can expect from the striker as he begins his season-long loan at the Hawthorns. So yeah, before we get into this video, be sure to subscribe to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. Of course, we're going for 1,000 subscribers, and I'm sure you'll be aware by now, by the end of the year, making big steps towards it, so that would mean the world to me if you could subscribe to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. Hopefully the audio quality is still significantly better with this new mic, which I'm absolutely loving. But yeah, let's get straight into talking about Jordan Hugill, because he's a pretty exciting player in terms of a loan signing. So let's get straight in and find out what we're going to see from Jordan Hugill. Oh, straight in with the transfer news that Jordan Hugill has joined West Bromwich Albion on a season-long loan. I think it's a bit of a surprise move, to be honest. We hadn't heard about it quite recently in terms of it. I just woke up one morning and saw this transfer news, just sat there on Twitter, and I was a bit confused because we hadn't been linked with him. We hadn't even shown any interest. None of our reputable sources and stuff like that really didn't take us by some expectation that this was going to happen. It's not one of those that we've been linked with forever and we just couldn't get the deal over the line. It was one that just literally came out of nowhere. So let's talk a little bit about Jordan Hugill. Obviously, we're going to have the better insight and certainly a more informed insight from the guys from Canary Cast, from Jacob from Canary Cast, who's going to be getting involved. They've also done a bit of a video on Jordan Hugill. There'll be a link for that in the description if you want to hear more from a Norwich standpoint. This is sort of what he can bring to West Bromwich Albion in terms of my thoughts, but obviously they're going to give their thoughts on how he's coped with his time at Norwich so far. So in terms of his best goal scoring seasons for Jordan Hugill, obviously a striker, big hold-up striker, lots of hard work in there as well, apparently, according to a lot of particularly Preston fans, I think is the one that we're looking at. But in terms of his best scoring seasons have come at both QPR and Preston. QPR in 2019 to 20, which is a 13-goal season, game, scoring 0.41 goals per game in that QPR side, which was the one, if you remember, we played against in the Championship not too long ago. Then his second best goal scoring season came at Preston North End, where he actually teamed up with none other than Callum Robinson of our own, and they were proved actually quite a deadly duo, to be honest. Callum Robinson obviously on the wing then for Preston, and Jordan Hugill up front, and he ended up scoring 12 goals in that one. Not quite his best minutes for goal ratio that he had, which is 0.34 goals per game at Preston. But Norwich City is another one that's kind of I'm looking at, because it's quite an interesting career at Norwich City. Obviously signing, I assume from after obviously coming back from his loan from QPR, but he played 31 games and got 4 goals. When you look at that, that's a really poor goal scoring record. But then you look at the minutes that he actually played. He actually only played 7.7 90 minutes. So he actually didn't play that much at all. If you look at the minutes that he played, it's actually one of the lowest in his career, with 694 minutes played for Norwich City. And then obviously goals per game is actually one of the better ones in his career, alongside good spells at Gateshead and Hartlepool. But Norwich is the one that really sticks out. 0.52 goals per game, or per 90 if you like, for Jordan Hugill. So it's a bit different in terms of what we're looking at from Jordan Hugill for goals. I think obviously there's been touted about a bit of issues with consistency, issues with finishing ability, but there's never been any, from what I've seen on Twitter and what I've seen around social media and by journalists reporting on Jordan Hugill, there's never been a problem with his attitude or his effort. He's very hungry. Obviously not a young player anymore. He's 28 at this moment in time, or 29, sorry. And he's still got hunger, apparently, according to a lot of people, about how they've got hunger, they've got the ability. He's got the ability to carry on and wants to better himself, and he wants to leave Norwich for more playing time, because obviously he's fallen down the pecking order with signings for Norwich such as Josh Sargent. I can't pronounce the Greek guy's name from Panathinaikos, but that one, and then obviously Timu Puki's up there as well. But to be fair, his goal ratio doesn't differ too much from Timu Puki. If you look at Timu Puki in the Championship, his goal scoring wasn't too much better than Jordan Hugill. You've got Timu Puki scoring 0.68 goals per 90, but then you've got Jordan Hugill scoring 0.52 goals per 90. So they're not that far apart, to be honest. But Jordan Hugill is going to provide hard work up front, which is something that I think Valérien Ismaël will like. He'll like the grit and determination. He'll like the ability to cause some problems and ruffle up the feathers of the opposition defence, which I think will be something that we can value and use very well. Obviously, it's a bit of a differential. I'm going to put it. I hope this doesn't come across as harsh on Jordan Hugill, but like Kenneth Sahor, if Kenneth Sahor had the work ethic that perhaps his strength and speed would desire. So obviously Jordan Hugill's going to ruffle the feathers of the opposition defence, going to get in their faces, try and win aerial duels, try and knock the ball down to opposition players, which I think will be nice. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on in an Albion shirt. It's not as bad of a signing as Albion fans saying it is. Well, maybe I suppose you could say it is a bad signing if he's the only one to come in between now and deadline day, which would be a bit worrying. Obviously, we'll have all the content for deadline day and any signings that surround deadline day here on the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe to that. If he's the only signing to come in between now and deadline day, I'd be a bit concerned. But I think in terms of that, he's an all right signing for us. I think a squad player, backup, definitely not your first choice, but I think it's not going to be the end of the world to sign him and bring him into the club, and hopefully give him a platform to score a few goals. If he gets 10 for us, I think would be a really good result. But yeah, let's go over to Jacob from Canary Cast, who's going to be giving us all the insight from a Norwich perspective on Jordan Hugill and what he can bring to the Hawthorns. Obviously seen him play over the last year or so for Norwich. So let's see what Jacob has to say about Jordan Hugill. And after Jacob's said his piece about Jordan Hugill, we'll be back again to talk about the fan reaction to this signing. But yes, take it away, Jacob. If you want to view the Canary Cast channel and page, if you want to go and check that out, the link will be in the description for that and their video on Jordan Hugill as well. So yeah, over to you, Jacob.
Hi, Baggies fans, and thank you, Louis, for asking me to come on very quickly and speak about Jordan Hugill. Obviously, he's going to be joining you on a season-long loan. So, yeah, Louis just asked me to kind of give out a bit of his strengths, his weaknesses, about his game, what he's been doing at Norwich. So, he scored, obviously, 5 goals for us last season. It was one of those where he was kind of brought on in the last 10 minutes for a few games, and then kind of real backup for Timu Puki, who got injured a couple of times, and then Jordan came in and kind of featured as second choice forward. What you need to know about Jordan Hugill is real throwback target man. He will put a couple of elbows in. He will be very, very physical. He's not the greatest on the ball. He's not very quick, but in the air, he's fantastic. He's not the tallest, but his frame is fantastic, and he's very, very physical. If you put that ball into the box for him, he will be a real threat, especially at championship level. And as I said on my video on our channel, I would be surprised if he features regularly. He should be getting at least 10 goals for you guys. Obviously, we've watched Valérien Ismaël's style for Barnsley. Obviously, we were in the championship with them last season and saw a couple of games for yourselves recently. And he is quite a direct manager. And obviously, he brought Carlton Morris from us last season for Barnsley, and a very similar kind of player who really performed under him. Hugill doesn't really fit in with the press that Ismaël likes to do. So that will be a very interesting way of how he fits him in there, maybe as a kind of a throw on for the last 15-20 if you need a goal sort of thing. He doesn't really press as well. He'll work hard. There's absolutely no doubt he'll give you every last bit of blood, sweat and tears he has. He's just not very quick, and he's not the greatest on the ball, but like I said, in the air he's very, very good. Physicality wise, he will batter anyone in terms of good at penalties as well. Scored a good penalty against Rotherham for our first win last season. He's a proper shithouser, and you'll really, really like him. He's one of those characters in the change room that on your social media clips that the club will put out, he'll be the main voice. He'll be demanding the most from every player and really get behind the team. So you'll love him as a character, even if you could kind of accept maybe some flaws in his game, like I say, not very quick, will not run in behind off the shoulder. But you get that furlong throw is what I'm picturing like he's going to get at Sheffield United. That launch, Hugill will be all over that. He will love that kind of that ability to be able to go into the egg. With Carlin Grant, Grady Diangana as well, that could be a very interesting. Cal Robinson as well, who he's played with at Preston, that could be quite nice. He needs legs around him, so that will be, I think, kind of free them up a little bit to be able to go and interchange, whilst Hugill might be a bit more of the target man. But yeah, very interested to see how he does. I'm sure he will play very well for you guys, and you will definitely enjoy him. While some people will be like, oh, it's Jordan Hugill. It's not a big name. We were like that last season, but he does a job for you for sure. Like, we just didn't play enough to his style really. We don't really cross the ball, and we're very much on the floor a lot of the time. That just didn't really suit him. We need a forward who can play off the shoulder and have clever movement. He's very good at it in the box, but around the box, kind of on the shoulder, that's just not going to be his game. So target man, very, very good in the air, very, very good character, and he will very quickly become a fan favourite, I think, at Albion, and really, really kind of impress you with how ambitious he is. He's a winner, obviously won the championship with us, and you can just see that he wants to be the very best he can. It's a perfect loan for you, no obligation to buy as well, because I think he falls short of that Premier League level. And now, obviously, within the Premier League, there's so many clubs that don't play to his style. Probably Burnley aside, there's no one who he would really fit to be able to be that first choice forward. But with Ismail, I think he fits in perfectly. If he had pace, he'd be your ideal forward because he could really press well. But no, he'll be a nuisance. That's the best way to describe him. A nuisance, a real horrible player who wins you fouls in the last minute when you're under the cosh. He is that guy, and very funny. He's very funny when you watch him. He's a real throwback centre forward compared to what we have nowadays. But yeah, he's a great player. I look forward to seeing how he gets on at Albion, and wish you all the best of the season. Thanks, Louis, for having me on, mate. Much appreciated. We have done a video, I myself done a video on Canary Cast about Jordan Hugill, a bit more about his goals for Norwich and what he's done for us as well in the past year. So check that out, obviously, after you've finished watching Louis, and look forward to seeing you there. Thanks very much, and best of luck for the season. See you later.
So a massive thank you to Jacob from Canary Cast for getting involved in the video and sending in his thoughts on Jordan Hugill. A very good insight there. So we can tell that he's going to be a very physical player, going to be one of those to really get in the faces of the opposition, start bullying them about, trying to bring others into play, and also a very good work rate as well, which I think will go down very well with Valerian Ismail, hopefully. So yeah, massive thank you to Jacob from Canary Cast for sending that in. Obviously, you can check their link out in the description. And as Jacob mentioned towards the end of the video, they've also done a video on Jordan Hugill and his time at Norwich City. So make sure you go and check that out. The link will be in the description of the video. But let's go over to some Albion fans now and check out what we're going to see from the fans of West Bromwich Albion. Their thoughts on Jordan Hugill. It's been mixed, to be honest, I think. But yeah, let's see our thoughts. People's thoughts on Jordan Hugill, which I think is quite interesting, and obviously going to be one to take a little look at in terms of what people have been saying, because it's been a mixed reaction, I'd say, in terms of the whole reaction towards Jordan Hugill. I don't think it's been massively well received, if I'm being completely honest. I've received it okay. It's not exactly what I would have wanted up front, and obviously I hope it's not the end of our striking endeavours really for this. But you know, let's find out what the Baggies fans think from what they've been saying on Twitter. So Roger Blunt says in response to my tweet about Jordan Hugill and how he was close to signing. Roger says, typical us, joke. Dan Tudge says, not exciting but could do a job, has had quite good and bad seasons, so quite mixed about it, says Dan. We've also had one from All News WBA who said he'd rather have Kenneth Zohore. Ooh, that is controversial, but my reply to that was just think of him as the more hard-working of Kenneth Zohore. I don't think anybody would rather Zohore. And then John W says, just re-sign Kanu for a year instead and just do the same thing. Yeah, I suppose that could be a viable option. I'm sure we probably will end up with Harry Robson-Kanu. I can just see it happening, to be honest. But yeah, let's go over to Instagram, see what you guys think. That was obviously from Twitter, so thank you for guys for getting your thoughts in. But let's hear from the guys getting involved with their responses. So Chris Ryan says, fairly risk-free, works hard and knows the league, seems like a Val player, says Chris Ryan. Agreed. Jabaggy says, rather Daryl DK, but when we go up, but this decent for this level. Matt Fleet says, may as well have just re-signed Hal Robson-Kanu. So I think him and John W are very much on the same wavelength with their thinking in terms of that. Another one being from Fletch Boing Boing, who says, is he good enough? I think in terms of goal scoring, probably not good enough, but in terms of work rate and going to knock people about and going to prove to be a decent player. So yeah, I'm not gonna say he's not good enough. But I'm going to say he's not good enough in terms of goal scoring, but in terms of overall build-up play and all that jazz, I think he's going to be more than good enough in that respect. And then Talk Footy says, has impressed at champ level, so a decent move. So massive thank you for you guys for getting your thoughts in on this signing. Hopefully he's going to prove to be exactly what we hope for, and hopefully going to provide a nice differential striking option, hopefully off the bench and coming on and putting in a good work rate and good effort levels. Obviously had a bit of a torrid time at different clubs, not really got the game time he wanted, not perhaps being abused for not being clinical enough, but hopefully we'll see a different Jordan Hugill at West Brom. Hopefully he can score us some goals and put in some good performances. Massive thank you again to Jacob from Canary Cast for getting his thoughts in on Jordan Hugill. Again, links in the description for that. But before we end this video, make sure you subscribe to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. There's a subscription button just down there. It's free to subscribe. Essentially, you just see my face in your inbox every so often, and you see our channel come up whenever there's a video we think you might like. So make sure you click that. Make sure you comment your thoughts on the transfer below. I'd love to hear them. And that brings us to the end of this Baggies Podcast transfer update, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.